Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are frequent listeners to the channel. Today we're going to do the Raw review for April 20th, 2020, for 2020. And we're going to do that. And we've also got some upcoming stuff that you need to know about. A secondary Gary Capetta interviews coming on Thursday. More of the Smoky Mountain series is coming on a daily basis, and other really cool things are coming, including some collabs with some other YouTubers. I'm really excited about that. Let's jump in to the Raw review. Actually, believe it or not, I can tell that Paul Heyman's fingerprints are all over this program, as it's moving at a better pace for once. So we see McIntyre enters the show. He says Raw is the highlight of his week. And you know what? I believe him. He's really gotten to a place where he's charismatic. He's comfortable. He's believable, relatable, and all the things that a guy who could carry a company could be. And I hope that they stick with this rather than going back to Roman for the 27th time if and when he returns. And certainly thoughts out to Roman Reigns as far as his health and everything is concerned. Don't want anything bad to happen to the guy, but he, to me, is not the main event guy that they've been trying to make him for the last 5 years. Semi-main event? Sure. Main event sometimes? Sure, why not? But the guy? No. Has never been, will never be. But anyway, McIntyre says he's not surprised. The title went in history, but it also means having a bullet on your back. There are people who say it's lonely at the top, but that's a lie. It's crowded as hell at the top. I'm really curious as to who told him it was lonely at the top. Everybody wants to be near a champion, around a champion, run off on a champion, get their shot at being one, that sort of thing. Anyway, McIntyre said that Rollins wasn't all that complex. He wants to be champion. McIntyre is champion. People didn't think Rollins deserved it, but that he has to be one of the most fighting champions ever. And McIntyre wanted to continue to be the best, and so he challenged Rollins for a title match at Money in the Bank. Now, here is the stupid thing. Okay, logic test. If you are the champion in anything, baseball, football, boxing, MMA, anything, you have the right to challenge everyone to come and challenge you, as in they must step up to you. If you are the champion, why the heck are you challenging somebody? It makes the champion look like he's kind of buying into the whininess of the challenger. Instead, it's like, all right, you go find it. You go get a contract signed. You go beg, you go kiss tail of matchmakers, you go do what you need to do to get it signed. I'll be here waiting for you when it's over, but the fact of the matter is, son, you better realize and recognize that there's absolutely nothing that you can do to touch me until you're given that opportunity. That's how champions should come off. It gives it some degree of reality. It gives it some degree of, like, the champion is the best, and that's the way it should be. In any event, the match has been made. I hate when wrestlers make matches in front of the screen. Anyway, Rollins about to get a message from McIntyre, but Zelina Vega, who I think is one of the most talented, I'd say she's top 3 talented women in WWE right now. If they don't do something major with her, they're dropping the ball. And Angel Garza and Austin Theory out with her. Vega says that meaning McIntyre, is too focused on Money in the Bank, looking past Garza, who he's going to fight later in the evening. At that moment, Andrade attacks McIntyre from behind, and McIntyre responds and hits a Claymore kick. Vega urged Theory and Garza to go after him, but they didn't, and McIntyre Claymore kicks Andrade once again out of the ring, this time looked into the camera and says he's going to bludgeon his opponent. Now, here's another logic flaw. Okay, there are 3 members to Zelina Vega's faction, which, by the way, preferably in my little world, my little corner of the world, needs a name. I don't care what we call it, but we got to call it something. Anyhow, there's 3 of them. There's 1 champion. Either she has the authority of, like, a United States politician, or she is about to lose her stable already, in which case building them up on TV so strongly over the past few weeks has been stupid. Either way, this was poorly done. Even if McIntyre gets a hold of all 3 of them, boom, 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 and runs them down as champion and looks super strong, a la Bruno Sammartino, a la Hogan back in the day, even if that happens, that's okay because we're trying to kind of crown a new era sort of deal, right? But for Theory and Garza to back off completely when Andrade's in trouble, when there's 3 of them and 1 of the champion and no one else in sight, it makes the heels look so weak that they don't even trust themselves with strength in numbers, 1. And 2, it's like, okay, you don't have the authority to get your men to move? Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Anyway, so that's just a little bit of logic there. Again, Jerry Lawler out there in commentary, and Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, probably Wade Keller. I haven't listened to Keller in a while. Their site's really hard to navigate unless you have a PayPal account, and I don't at the moment. So, in any event, but Brian and Dave certainly have raised a point. Lawler's had a heart attack. Should he really be traveling with the coronavirus? Of course, Lawler on various podcasts and interview appearances says he really doesn't care about the coronavirus and isn't taking it too seriously. So it's there, but needless to say, should he really be out there? Now, Austin Theory versus Aleister Black in just under 12 minutes. I'm not a fan of this match for one reason only. Theory's brand new. He's 21 years old. He's a blue chip prospect. Yes, he's green, shouldn't be in there, but he is. They've decided to take him forward. That's probably a Paul Heyman decision, and Vince is signing off on it, whatever. Who cares? Bottom line, he's a young kid with unlimited potential. He should not be dropping falls this early unless it's to a main event guy. And Aleister Black, although he's on his way up, is not main event yet. So, to have Theory lose the fall here is anticlimactic to the push that he's been given over the past few weeks, especially with the rub from being in Mania. You could have given him to Garza. You could have given him to somebody else. You could have given him to like a Buddy Murphy or an R-Truth or whatever. But Theory at this point should be going over, not under, in matches to build momentum of that young upstart. To me, he reminds me a lot of a young Randy Orton, a young Brock Lesnar. I've been watching Austin Theory since his days in Evolve. Have talked with multiple people who are friends with him, trained with him, and they say he's got the goods. And I see it. I see the potential. So don't give it away. Don't waste it by running the kid too quick, too soon. Vega joined alongside and does commentary again. Again, beautiful. I'd love to see her in a more permanent commentary role. Maybe this is a broadcast journalist thing, you know. She's there to save the broadcast team, whatever. Brilliant idea. Number one, because I think, and I've always felt this way, and someday in the hopefully not too distant future when I'm running my own company, I believe we're in 2020, folks. We need a female broadcast member on every program to balance out the energy so that you have women who are watching at home with their boyfriends, with their husbands, or by themselves, right? Whatever, with their friends, with their partner, whoever, and they want a voice of their own. So give them one in the booth on every show. Just one. Doesn't have to be overkill. And there should be a balance, balance too, of interviewers, male and female, backstage interviewers. Why is it that females have been relegated to backstage interviewers only? It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Instead, there should be some sort of balance. A male interviewer interviews one group, female interviewer interviews the other group. Preferably, if we're really thinking logically, the females should interview the baby faces because baby faces are less likely to attack them. Therefore, women who could be potentially in distress, especially the type that WWE would hire, would fall into the damsel in distress category most of the time. More often than not, they don't have to work because they're interviewing the baby faces. Give the male interviewer the shot with the heel. That way, if you need things to become physical, it's acceptable to do so. Again, not that hard to be logical about this stuff. Anyhow, we go back. Beautiful drop kick by Aleister Black out of the ring, and Vega leaves commentary to yell at Black. Momentary distraction leads to Austin Theory getting an advantage. Black applies a triangle choke, but Theory counters into a deadlift one-arm powerbomb. Again, the kid has beautiful timing. He's got a great series of moves. He knows when to put stuff where. Honestly, I don't know why he's not in the NXT Cruiserweight tournament. I don't get that. I don't get why he's not headlining 205 Live. I don't get why he's not on the weakest brand of the three in SmackDown. They could really use him like him. There's millions of things you could do with the guy, and putting him under the Aleister Black in 12 minutes on TV, to me, just isn't it. Then Theory went on offense briefly until Black caught him with a knee. I love that WWE seems to be slowing down the number of strikes that are coming with guys that do striking moves. That's always a good thing to me. Theory and then finds, Theory finds his way to a loss, and Aleister Black gains the victory, advancing to the Money in the Bank deal here in a few weeks. So, Byron Saxton asked about strategy for the corporate ladder match. Black said he didn't know, and he guessed he would have to cover with his talent, promised that he would give his opponents, difficulty and take them through each floor of the building and would turn them into their own, that building would turn into their own personal hell. And it's a little hokey, but so is the idea of the corporate ladder match. Again, the more I hear about this thing, the more I'm annoyed. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, numbnuts. It's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. You can, for most of the world, having physical relations with animals is not common. And there'd be a first time for that for most of the world. Doesn't mean that we should have a first time for everything. This match proves that. It's just dumb. Anyway, Shayna Baszler to take on, I think her name was Linda Hartwell, something like that. Didn't quite catch her name, but she's only there for about 60 seconds anyway, so it doesn't really matter. She's obviously there to service Baszler. Anyway, Charlie Caruso asked her if she took it too far against Sarah Logan last week. Baszler responded with, "Did I break any rules? No, I just broke her arm." And then slowly they went to a replay. Baszler tries the arm break spot again, but Hartwell avoids it. Baszler uses forearms and is tight with everything she does. Forearms, knee strikes, and then stops on the arm, as she did last week. The referee immediately stops it and calls for the bell. And then they announced Baszler the winner due to ref stoppage. I love that there's a ref stoppage. Now, here's the thing. Here's where WWE is behind the times. Baszler can speak. I'm not saying she can't. But much like Brock Lesnar, the question isn't can she, it's should she. There is a beautiful angle waiting to happen here if they decided to do it. It's so simple. It's writing itself, and they're missing it. It's this. You take a Paul Heyman or the former Stokely Hathaway. I don't remember his WWE main roster name at the moment. But you take somebody who can do the speaking for Baszler, and you say, this woman is an animal. She's been in the UFC. She's been in the Octagon. She's fought everywhere. She's best friends with Ronda Rousey, the most dangerous woman in the world. She's conquered everything. She's done the impossible. And now she's here in WWE because the competition is light. You see, she can get more matches here than she can up there. she can get more matches, which means she can make more money and do more damage. There's no one that's woman enough to face Shayna Baszler. There's no one woman enough on this planet to stop this fine female. Matter of fact, the challenge is out. Charlotte Flair, come get some. Becky Lynch, bring it. Becky, former 2 belts, you won't even be able to buy a belt when we're done with you. And you go and you hype. And you bring that to the point where people want to see who can stop her. I love what they're doing, but she needs a mouthpiece. She needs that Don K. hype person, because although she can talk, it's better when she doesn't. It's better when she doesn't, because there's more of an air of mystery. And that is what is needed throughout WWE, is some people with some mystery behind them. I know Vince has this antiquated mental thought that a manager or an agent or a coach or whatever is another person to pay on the road. So what? You at this point, you only have to fly them out for let's say 60 days a year. Let's see, 12 plus 52. Well, 12 plus 50 is 62. So say 65 days a year if you put them on every TV, and you don't need to do that. So let's just round it off, say 60 for easy math, right? You fly them out for 60 days a year. As it relates to house shows, you don't have to go to the house shows. All you do with that, you have them shoot with a GoPro from home. You put a promo on the big screen. They're still there in feeling. They're still there in emotion. You get cheap heat with the crowds. You people in Boise, Idaho, you're not worth being in front of. But you know what? I'm here to be an advocate for my client. I'm here to let you know that he's about to take care of whomever, wherever, right here in name your town here. This isn't rocket science. And sometimes I think that especially with WWE, they want to fail. I think they're so arrogant and so conceited and so cocky because they make all this money that they don't really care about the quality of product they put out. It's almost like the corporate elite or the one world elitists who think, oh, these people will watch anything. They'll listen to anything. You need to do something good. They'll be Stockholm Syndrome. They'll come back whenever. And for a good number of WWE fans, it has been that way. But that number is dropping and dwindling week by week. So they got to do something different, right? In any event, we move on to Ricochet and Cedric Alexander against Shane Thorne and Brandon Vick. I assume these are developmental guys or something of that nature. Not quite sure why we need a complete squash for a team that isn't really established in the middle of this program here. But there's a Ricochet follow-up personality piece after Raw. So good to put him in this position so that he can look good. The unknowns get a little bit of offense, not so much, and then we see Ricochet and Alexander do everything they can do. The announcers, one of them anyway, says that these two men have wanted the team for a while, have known each other for a decade. That's a little bit of a backstory. It's kind of cool. Hopefully they keep the team together for a bit. Personally, we're splitting them up. I'm a faith of that with Vince's mentality about tag team wrestling. But anyhow, so then we see a series of, high-impact moves, and Alexander follows up and finishes with a lumbar check for the win. Lawler seemed to be used by some of the move names. Doesn't really matter to name the moves if we're not going to keep them together. So wait to see on Bottling to use those. Charlie Caruso interviews Kairi Sane and Asuka. Caruso wondered how Sane thought she would do in her rematch against Nia Jax. Asuka said she was ready. They danced and sang and had a good time. Mr. Bobby Lashley, here's where I start to get bored. Mr. Bobby Lashley's on screen. He's at the Performance Center. He's going to flip a tire over, a la the old Ken Patera deal, the Strongman deal. Good for him. The thing is, has he been injured image-wise beyond repair? Don't know. It would take several weeks of Strongman things and keeping him off actual wrestling television to get him back to a point where anybody cares, I think, and I don't know that they're patient enough to do that. interesting that Lana is still with the company and still with the Bobby Lashley storyline. Wonder how long that'll be now that Rusev has been released. She's a good second. She's a good heater, and she does what she needs to do. Let's see. Then we move to Nia Jax versus Kairi Sane. Just over 4 minutes for that one. Jax, who is, I don't know. She had an upside a few years ago. With the double knee injury, I wonder how long she has for the business, especially with her weight. No, that's not fat shaming. It's just a simple fact. The more a person carries, the harder it is for them to be flexible and athletic on a regular basis. Wonder even still carrying the weight if she can go after having double knee surgery. Sane asks for the match. Jax touring to Sane and uses her power early. Took an ugly. Jax tosses Sane in, and Sane takes an early ugly bump. Jax misses a charge, so she's selling a leg. Then we see a Samoan drop for the pinfall win. Jax lightly smacks her in the face to kind of get things going in her direction. Then we go to a Seth Rollins promo, which appears to be from some remote location somewhere. He does more Messiah stick. He says that he doesn't want to have to go after McIntyre, but he understands what McIntyre is going through. He's been on top. I wish he had said something like, and I don't know the number off the top of my head, I could look it up, but I would have started this promo with like, somehow you're one of the 80. You're one of the 80, Drew. You're one of the 80 men over the last 50-plus years to be the man at the top of the mountain, to be the man at the pinnacle, to be the man to hold that WWE Championship, my WWE Championship. You see, I was there before you, and I'll be there after you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm coming for that belt because long ago, several years ago, the man who made NXT possible, Triple H, he anointed me. While you were off playing in lesser buildings, he anointed me as the predecessor to his throne. And so now, you hold what I want. You hold what I need. You stand in the spot designated for me. Do you really think this is going to be easy, Drew? Do you really believe within your heart of hearts that you can stand up to the Monday Night Messiah, that you can be man-to-man with a man who's been cast aside, the man who led the Shield, the man who's done it all? And the next thing I'll do, simple. Print it. Put it on a T-shirt. Put it on a poster. Put it on a billboard. The next thing I'll do, eliminate Drew. When? Money in the Bank. Boom. Done. Right? What you've done there is you've just sold that Money in the Bank matters, which right now, honestly, in an empty arena environment with quarantined people, it doesn't. I mean, really, is it going to matter if 2 million people miss this throwaway event on WWE Network in a few weeks? No, but if you build anticipation that Rollins is wanting to get under the skin, man, then, because I think, in theory, I think people would have cared about Drew McIntyre had WrestleMania been live. I think it's the first time since, maybe the Braun Strowman push, but probably before that. I'd go back even further to say Punk's pipe bomb in 14, 15, whenever that was, several years back, that they care about a guy, legitimately third-level care about a guy. And I think would have been beautiful to have the crowning moment for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and it would have worked. But the fact of the matter is they didn't get to have that But so now you've got to add extra emotion to any match that he's in just because. Now, we move on to Apollo Crews, MVP, for another spot in the qualifier for the Money in the Bank ladder match thing. My understanding was that MVP was going to be predominantly an agent. I'm thrilled that he's back on camera. Number one, he's a guy that's legitimately charismatic. He doesn't have to force it. Number two, he speaks naturally, fluently, easily. That's something that a lot of WWE talent can't do when they're given written stuff. More than that, guys like Crews, who I don't quite understand why, if you're going to bring him back to television, why you don't do 2, 3, 4 vignettes to hype up he's returning and make it something special that he's coming back. I think while I like him as a talent, I think he's phenomenal. I think he's got an upside. I think they could do more with him. He's also been kind of incognito for a while, as best I remember, as best I recall, and or in positions where it's easy to view him as an oversight. So doing something with that and kind of reintroducing him as a talent, especially at a time when you have that time to fill because of the empty arena stuff, and you've got to have, you know, this weekly episodic television. I think taking 90 seconds for 3 weeks, taking the total of about 3 minutes, just to reintroduce him, make him seem more human, more relatable, would have been a good idea. Anyway, so then we come, you know, he gets the victory. Tom Phillips says it's the biggest win of Apollo Crews' career. Yeah. We've heard that before. Nothing really exciting. I mean, the match was good. I really liked, there's one point in the match where MVP is saying, I've been in the ring with Batista. I've been in the ring with, I was waiting for him to say John Cena. But I think he said Kane whack. And he's talking is what gets him pinned. I just love the way they put the match together. I think it makes the anything can happen at any moment a really good thing. Ruby Riott up next with a Charlie Caruso interview. I guess Charlie's the only person that can do interviews in the building or something. Talks about the Riott Squad and her match with Liv Morgan tonight. Riott says there never really was a squad. False. And then she had double shoulder surgery because she had to carry them, Liv and Sarah Logan. Okay, well, wouldn't that be back surgery if you were carrying them? You know, she could have said it would have been better. She said, I had to have double shoulder surgery. I had to lift them to my level. But, you know, something like that. It's just, I'm really, and maybe it comes from being a life coach and having to help people formulate words and the importance of language, but some of these promos are so poorly written. And it's not to do with delivery. The talent's doing the best they can, but it's like people don't speak that way. Anyway, so, you know, she made them look good. She takes them to the next level. And Liv Morgan is going to pay for not being a contributing member of the Riott Squad to the level she could have been, you know, at a later point. Anyway, so then we go to another women's match. They went back and forth until Morgan caught Ruby with a flatliner. It was awkward, man. That flatliner looks like it came out of nowhere and looked like it just was almost like a trip. So I don't know if they were going for that or what happened there. The announcers inferred that Morgan was now done with Riott. You know, Morgan is she's got an upside to her. She's marketable. I just find that, and I don't know why, but it seems that WWE has an easier time. And I'd love for someone listening to start this. Maybe mention in the comments below. Do you find that WWE has an easier time dealing with marketing blondes? I just have found they've always marketed blonde women better. Anyway, we go back to the gym with Bobby Lashley. He does the lift again. They air a tribute to Howard Finkel. Rest in peace, Howard, the best ring announcer in certainly in the last 30 years, if not longer. Let's see. Then we go to Rey Mysterio and Murphy for a qualifier for the Money in the Bank deal. Mysterio wears Under Armour and gloves and Batman logo, and he appeared to injure his finger and went outside to regroup. So Murphy went after him and runs him into the barricade. Murphy tries working over his hand, but Mysterio fought him off until Murphy stomped on the hand. Simple storytelling. Murphy continued to target the hand throughout, and then goes to the outside. Leg scissors takedown against the ramp, and Murphy tries countering a 619, but Mysterio turned it into a tilt-a-whirl DDT for a near fall. Mysterio then takes Murphy into the barricade with another leg scissors takedown. Mysterio appears to try popping his finger back into place. Ouch. And then they go back into the ring, and then a high cross body attempt. He hit a fireman-carrying neckbreaker, knee strike, and then Canadian Destroyer 619 and Frog Splash for the pinfall. Decent match. Surprised that that Mysterio goes over here. Maybe they're giving him one last mini run or something. I actually, when I saw the match on screen, I figured that Murphy would be another guy to get the rub to go into the Money in the Bank scenario. Really surprised that that did not occur. Caruso tries interviewing Vega, but continually she's mocked and intimidated and all that. She says that everything, Vega finally says that everything is fine. McIntyre may not make it to Money in the Bank after tonight. Garza tries to invite Caruso to ask him how he feels, how it feels to be a champion, and after the match tonight, he'll be able to answer her, and she says, I could do that. Now, NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair against Caden Carter, in just under 3 minutes. Charlotte uses the ropes, just stretching and kind of staying limber before the bell. Straight into the match, Carter off guard with big boots. She then is, says always do your homework. Carter obviously not ready for the level of Charlotte. Charlotte fought out of an octopus hold and hit a spear. She flies the figure 4, slapped Carter around for a few minutes, then transitioned to the figure 8, and Carter tapped out. Charlotte mockingly clapped for Carter after the match. Back in the gym, Lashley admitted he wasn't sure if he could move the 450-pound weight. Again, this segment's going on too long. No one cares enough about Bobby Lashley to, care one way or the other if he does it or not. At least not that I can imagine. I just don't see Lashley as being, connected enough that anybody's going to care enough that putting this much time into the guy is worth it. And then, let's see. Then we go back to the U.S. champion Andrade with Zelina defeated Tozawa, non-title match, just under 5 minutes. Tozawa was all over Andrade early and hits a series of flip dives to the outside that he's done before. Lawler this time does not make an inappropriate joke in the process. Then we see a near fall after a flying front flip dropkick. Tozawa tried going after him on the outside, but Vega momentarily stands in the way. Tozawa manages to apply an octopus hold, does not get a major advantage from it, and then we see Tozawa counter the vertical suplex into a small package for a near fall. Tozawa hits a spin super kick and then went to the top, but Andrade knocks him down a bit. Tozawa hits a super kick and then the elevated DDT by Andrade for the pinfall win. This was short, but decent little match. Vega and Andrade are excited. Street Profits entered and danced near the announce tables. Crime Time 2.0 is here. People were in close proximity to each other, and it doesn't make much sense. Back from the break, the Street Profits were all still out there as Bianca Belair versus Santana Garrett takes place. Garrett loses the fall in just under 4.25 minutes. Ford and Dawkins were very excited on commentary for Bianca Belair, and the excitement spills over. High cross body by Garrett, but Bianca Belair kicks out of it. Just after 1 count, Belair follows with the KOD for the pinfall win. Street Profits celebrating absolutely crazy, and basically Crime Time Part 2, this time with a woman in tow, is there. Finally, we go to our main event, Drew McIntyre against Angel Garza with Zelina Vega. Vega really all over the show, if you think about it. They're pushing her heavy. They almost remind me of how they pushed Sunny and Sable back in the late 90s. There's only about less than 10 minutes left in the show when they start the main event. I think that's kind of stupid. If you're going to have the champion on, you might as well highlight him. Hard chops by the champion. Andrade tries to distract the champion, but McIntyre is not having it. He caught him with a headbutt. Theory tries to attack, but McIntyre catches him with the offense too. And then Garza finally manages to take advantage and rammed him twice into the steel post to the outside. Garza followed up with a missile dropkick for the 1 count. McIntyre fought into a single leg crab and hit a clothesline, the boot. McIntyre hit a double axe handle and went for the Claymore kick, but Garza ducks to the outside, and he does so. McIntyre sends Andrade over the barricade with a Claymore kick Theory. Then he tries to give Garza one and doesn't quite work. Instead hits a attempted Alabama slam, but that doesn't work either. Garza rolls through that, gets back going in his general direction, and then McIntyre follows up with a Claymore kick for the pinfall win. After match, McIntyre let the announce team know that he was going to hit another kick, so I guess that's part of his deal. He's going to tell us when he's going to hit his finish. How kind of him. McIntyre went and gave Garza another Claymore, and then Andrade went up the ramp, get too close to the belt, and then it's easy to see that Drew is having a good time with the program, good time with all. So that is your Raw review. Better than an average Raw, but no one's watching, so what does it matter? I mean, at this point, you can reset all you want, but you still have to deal with the fact that months upon months of generation fans must only points when you're getting to see guys. Just really not to be back. WWE has been better at some of this thing, and other companies, even Impact Wrestling, has been better at kind of keeping things a little bit more on the up and up on the way out the door with this virus. But anyway, that's your Raw review for the 20th of April in 2020. Scott Golden, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.